Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is Sahibzada. Welcome to CxO TV, where innovation meets ideas for growth via our knowledge sharing platform, CxO Global Forum. Joining us today, Dr. Sahibzada Ali Mahmud, Managing Director, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Information Technology Board. Very good evening, Sahibzada. How are you today?
Thank you for having me on the show. I'm doing good, and I hope you're doing well also.
Very well. Thank you very much, sir, to be on our show. And I totally understand that you have a busy schedule and you have taken out time for us. So let's start with your personal journey. Please tell us about your journey of almost 2 decades.
It's a couple of years, less than 2 decades, actually. Um,
Okay.
so it started a long time ago when I did my bachelor's in electrical engineering from UET Peshawar. And then from
Right.
that point onwards, I was looking at different career options because I had three or four options once I graduated to choose from. So I opted to work for a government organization mainly because it had an R&D department and research and development right from the very beginning. It was kind of attractive for me because I could experiment with different ideas. So I opted to choose that government department. And I worked there for about 2 years, and I had a chance to work with some really great people, work on some new ideas, experiment with some new ideas. So it involved a lot of coding, working on embedded systems. So that basically, that started a kind of to inculcate a kind of passion in me to experiment on new things. And
Right.
then I had an opportunity to apply for a competitive scholarship program offered by the Higher Education Commission at that time. So
Right.
I enrolled in that program, I competed, and then I was able to get a fully funded PhD scholarship to go to UK and pursue my PhD. And that was again in
Right.
electrical engineering. And the specialized field that I selected at that time was in wireless networks. And again, I had an opportunity to work on, do some really good research, experiment on some new things. And when you're doing PhD, you have to contribute something new and interesting to the already existing body of knowledge. If you're not able to do that, then you're not able to get a PhD degree. So
Right.
I contributed two or three different um, uh, I made two or three different contributions to the already existing body of knowledge, mainly in mesh networking. I
Right.
made use of some optimization algorithms to add more value to the kind of technology that was already there in high data rate mesh networking. I already had an opportunity. When I was doing my PhD, I had an opportunity to work on a fully funded project of a European Commission under the seventh framework program. So it had a consortium of 32 partners from it. It had SMEs, it had academic institutions, it had some leading industries like Nokia, France Telecom,
Right.
NEC Europe. So I had a chance to work with a very good team, and that project went on for almost 3.5 to 4 years, and I worked actively in that. And once I came back, I worked again in the public sector with UET Peshawar. And while working there, I had an opportunity to get a good funding from different sources, from the federal government, some donor agencies, and I established the first
Right.
dedicated R&D center in UAT. And I had a chance to work on some interesting things about 10 years ago. I worked on Internet of Things. I worked in the area of smart grids. I worked on intelligent transportation systems. I worked on AI. So I had an
Right.
opportunity to build up a very good team and work on some really interesting things that I eventually offered to the industry.
Right.
Um, and then
So, it was your what made you choose the public sector? Like you voluntarily wanted to come into it, or
So there are advantages and disadvantages in every sector. I chose the public sector because you get an opportunity to contribute at different levels, at policy level, and
absolutely
as you go up the ladder, you can really add a lot of value to the whole decision making process. And at the end of the day, if you're working for the public sector, your decision can impact a lot of people, whether it be at the provincial level or at the federal level. So you can create a bigger impact, and you get access to the people more easily who are at the helm of affairs and who are taking these big decisions. So you get more access when you're working for the public sector. You also get access to more resources, because these days the opportunities are quite a lot to get funded from so many different sources, and you can get the kind of resources that you require to implement something that can have a bigger impact.
True that, true that. So, doing PhD at such an early age, what inspired you to do that?
So, like I said before, I was interested right from the outset of my career to experiment on new ideas, and that is really what prompted me to take the career path. In the R&D area, where I can experiment on
Right.
new things. Yes.
So, how has the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa IT department or IT board contributed to digital transformation?
It has contributed in a number of ways. So there is a roadmap already available in the form of digital policy of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa 2018, which is for 5 years, and we keep on reviewing the policy and realigning the priorities. But the core pillars on which the whole policy is structured, it consists of all the important things that you would want in your digital transformation journey to actually make it successful and more sustainable. So it consists of the four areas, consists of digital access, digital skills, digital economy, and digital governance. The good thing is that the KPIT board has the mandate to make interventions in the public sector to ensure digital governance, and also it has the mandate to uplift the private ICT sector. So it
Right.
has been contributed. It has been contributing in a number of important ways. And when I joined the IT board almost a year ago, so I came up with this very focused roadmap to start the digital transformation journey, which involves making important interventions in the public sector, whether it be citizen facing services, whether it be business facing services, or whether it be the processes, the government processes to improve their transparency, productivity, efficiency, etc., and to also make sure that a complete change management process is put in place so that the effort is made more successful and sustainable.
Right. So, as you said, the roadmap was already there, but things were moving forward, or you have joined, so you have executed those things, or you have taken it in a different way.
So the level of effort that is required to ensure a complete digital transformation of the whole province, it requires a lot of resources. So the level of effort is really commensurate with the kind of resources that the government is able to commit. And
True.
so something that I would like to highlight is that when I joined the IT board, so traditionally, it used to get a budget of around 300 to 350 million rupees per annum, which was really, not something that you can use to bring up a really big transformative impact. So this time around, this year, I'm happy to say that the government has allocated unprecedented budgetary amount to ensure that the digital transformation journey takes place in a proper manner. So I'm happy to say that the government has committed almost 14 billion rupees this time to the KPIT board, which is unprecedented. And apart from that, I have been interacting actively with different multilaterals like the World Bank, donor agencies, and they have been able to show a lot of interest in some of the areas where we are working on to basically add to the impact that we want to create. Whether it's creation of employment opportunities for our youth,
True.
whether
True
it's
that.
to make digital governance possible, regarding the whole digital transformative process. So regarding the resources that the government has committed, and from other sources, I'm happy that we have enough on our table now to make sure that the transformation process takes place properly and at a bigger scale.
And with your experience, like you have gained from abroad and the knowledge you have gained, so definitely it will be a good addition to the government, I believe.
So I hope I've been able to contribute to the best of my ability. And it's not just me, I have a very good team working with me. So at an
Right,
individual level, I can contribute only so much, but with a good team, you can obviously
right.
scale up the kind of efforts that
That's
are required.
the teamwork.
Uh, Yes, so I value teamwork a lot, and I'm happy to share that I have a very good and dedicated team. Obviously, not everybody in a team can be at the same level, but I'm happy with the kind of work that my team has been doing, and that has led to actually, giving a kind of structure the whole process in a way so that
Of
everything happens in a coherent manner and in a structured manner.
So you are in a right direction. You're moving in a right direction. You can say that
Yes, I would like to think so.
thing. So tell us about the upcoming investor summit. This is a first of its kind, or we are excited to know about this.
Okay, I'm happy to know that. So actually, we have a flagship event which is called the Digital Youth Summit, and it has been
Right.
organized for the last 5 years on annual basis. Last year in 2020, it couldn't happen because of COVID, but this year we are going to organize it on a grand scale, and it's going to be held on 12th, 13th, and 14th of November, just hardly less than 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
So on the first day, on 12th of November, we are hosting this investor summit in collaboration with National Incubation Center Peshawar. And
Okay.
the idea is that over the past few years, I would say that for the last 7 or 8 years, the growth trajectory of our startup ecosystem has really been something very amazing. And almost every week you get to know about different startups raising series A, B, C funding, which is really amazing to know because
Right.
a few years ago, the one of the biggest challenges in the startup ecosystem, or I would say one of the biggest missing links, was having angel investors and venture capital firms on board, uh, that were interested to invest in our local startups. But since we have seen a lot of interest over the past couple of years by these different venture capital firms, so we thought that it would be appropriate to start the Digital Youth Summit with an investor summit, so that we can make the matchmaking even more better by connecting
Exactly.
our local startups
Very right.
with the investors,
So
so that they
have
can see
other.
the potential in KP.
All right. Yeah, of course, definitely. So have other provinces have taken such initiative, or this is the first?
So every now and then there is an event that is organized, but I believe that this is going to be on a very big scale. The scale is going to be bigger than I think what we've seen previously. And following the investor summit, we'll have 2 days of DYS, in which again our young entrepreneurs, our youth, they get a chance to listen to those people
Exactly.
who have made it big in their own respective areas. They can look at their success stories. They can get motivation from their success stories. They'll have an ability to interact with them. So it will give them a lot of good networking
Of
opportunities to
course.
interact with, uh, those people who
Exactly.
can give them a lot to learn from their
True.
experiences.
Very, very well said. So, what advice would you give youth and mid-career executives who would want to join the public sector?
So they have to be resilient. They have to have a lot of patience when working for the public sector, because you would like to make things go at a certain pace, but at times it can get really, I would say, a little bit frustrating, because at times things do not move at the kind of pace that you would like them to.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
then you get to know about how to make things go at a certain pace, and once that starts happening, then you get motivated to propose new initiatives that can have a bigger impact. So you need to be very resilient, you have to be focused, and you need to have a lot of patience. But the good thing about the public sector is that once you know how to operate within the public sector, then with your initiatives you can create a bigger impact on the lives of people in so many different ways.
Exactly, exactly. So once somebody has joined public sector, so that's it. They can't leave. That's a normal perception.
So many people have left. Some have been able to, uh, like I said, some have been very successful in creating a good impact. There are good and bad examples, but I've seen people join the public sector, do some really good work, and then again revert to the private sector again. So there are different examples that you can relate to.
Right, right. So, what measures has KP taken for digital inclusion when it comes to women entrepreneur and startups in KP?
So I keep on saying this whenever I get an opportunity that you see more than 60% of our population it's under the age of 30, which is a big opportunity for us if we can capitalize on it. When we talk specifically about women, again, we cannot talk about equitable digital inclusion unless we talk about creating opportunities for women. And the reason that I say that is that the participation of women in our workforce is smaller compared to other regional countries like Bangladesh and India. And also, the gender pay gap is the highest in Pakistan if you compare it to other countries in the region. So, unless we take initiatives to empower and engage our women, it would be difficult to go towards equitable digital inclusion. So we have different programs that we have
Okay.
initiated that are specifically for women. So in our network of incubators, we started gender inclusive spaces, and we specifically hired female coordinators so that the women led startups are more comfortable in interacting with their respective coordinators, and the mentors that we arrange for them, the coaches that we arrange for
Exactly.
them.
It's a very
So
good
we try to,
initiative.
exactly, so we try to make them as comfortable as we can. And apart from that, recently, a few months ago we started this program to train 3,000 women entrepreneurs with the funding from World Bank under a project that's called Digital Jobs, and that has proven to create a very good impact. And we have a digital skills program that we have been running for the last few years. So we have a substantial quota for our
Okay.
female graduates who can benefit from the program.
So, I believe that the thought process has also changed in KP. There are a lot of more women who are actually part of the industry now.
That's true. It has happened a bit slowly, but it has gradually gained pace over the last couple of years. So now, women can really relate to local success stories, and they can see that it's easier to relate to local success stories. So they've
Mhm.
seen a woman like them succeed while taking a bigger risk by starting their own ventures, and that is something that has really motivated other women to
Yeah,
to
other women.
take, yes, to
And
take
that's an
risks and
achievement,
start their own venture. Yes, I agree.
right? So, lastly, Dr. Saab, I would like to ask what utility you see being a part of CxO Global Forum.
Sorry, I lost you for a minute.
What utility you see being a part of CxO Global Forum?
So it's an excellent forum. I've been a part of it for the last couple of years, and it provides you with excellent
Thank you very
networking
much.
opportunities with fellow C-level executives, and there's a lot to learn from each other's experiences.
True, true, true. So, thank you very much and hope to see you once again in one of our shows. And thank you very much for your valuable time.
Thank you for having me and giving me time. Thank
Allah
you.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.